This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Solve for Why Only Friends podcast.
I think it's so sad.
I almost said vlogcast. I had to catch myself.
Moment of silence for the vlogcast.
We are here, day 43 of the WSOP. The days are ticking, man. I am a little confused. I thought that the World Series ended on the final day of the main event. Is that not true?
That is not true. I just looked at this yesterday. There is an event that starts on the last day of the main event, which goes 3 more days.
Is it the 5K Turbo?
It's the Tournament of Champions event.
But
that's
Right.
the closer.
Yeah.
That's a free roll.
How
And
does
that-
that tournament work?
Uncle Corey will be in there for
Yeah,
sure.
Uncle Corey. Anyone who won a ring or bracelet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want, I don't know if it's bracelet.
So
but for
if
sure
you're a
rings.
winner, you're allowed in.
So if you're
Yeah.
a winner and not a loser,
Correct.
you will be in there.
None of us will be in there.
Shout
Yes,
out to
we are
Corey,
all
another
losers.
final table.
there's no
Mr. Corey.
When is Corey's course coming out?
I know.
Soon. Very soon.
Seriously.
There's no winners and losers, man. There's just winners and then the people that aren't them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Those are the losers, and that's us.
I think that as much as Corey is probably happy to win 35,000, he is probably very sad.
Yeah,
And
I
I
was
was very
sweating
sad
it.
for him.
It was he went out in a double knockout.
Yeah. I walked in literally as he was busting,
Yeah.
and I could just see the blood draining from his face. It's so honestly, I think what it is like it's a tough field. He's able to final. So we're talking about the 3,300,
3,200.
3,200
Bracelet event
online high
online
roller
bracelet.
yesterday. Good news is I'm guessing he probably satellited in, and he did cash 7th place for 35K.
Yeah.
Bad news is first place was 340,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So much money.
So it's like it's already top heavy.
You're so close to the 300. You're so
Yeah, you're
close.
6 people away.
Yeah.
And also it's so top heavy. Like it's rare that first place is 10x 7th place. Usually it's 10x 9th place.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like he didn't even really get his just dues. 7th should have been worth like 50K.
Right.
So it's a double thing where it's like so fucking close. This kid's made so many bracelet final tables online.
I know.
This is his second this year
Second this
online.
year. Yep.
He got 2 second place last WSOP online last year during the summer. So that's 4 online bracelet events where he final tabled. Plus, he just him and Jamie got runner up this year in the tag team event.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to
It's a good
Jamie.
summer.
She got 6th simultaneously in the 1K circuit event for 21K.
Man, playing all this live is...
Here it comes.
No. I just mean like I haven't played any online this entire summer.
Which is why you're having an existential crisis.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a big energy change
Well,
from
it's-
the beginning of WSOP to the end of WSOP.
He had a full blown meltdown yesterday when Christian and I had him convinced that the sim is a lie.
We tried to warn him, like, beginning of the summer, Dan O'Brien sent him a nice message. You know, just saying, hey, man, listen, if you'd have just took his advice, you'd probably feel fine right now.
Oh, there he is.
Landon sends us a hand history where blind versus blind. He just runs it with 6-3 off versus Prince. Like Prince. And Prince just has, the house. And he goes, Solver likes my lie.
It does. You gotta bluff something. Why can't you just lose with dignity and respect?
Do you really have to bluff into that full house only range? I mean,
We
I
don't know if it's full house only.
No, but we know he probably doesn't fold ace high either. It's like when you're counting on these mixed frequency folds to come through and they just don't.
Who knows what he has?
Who knows indeed? Who knows?
You know who would
knows?
never bluff like that?
Huh?
You know who would never bluff like that?
Who?
Ryan.
You're correct.
The
The tortoise would have
tortoise.
lost
No.
one big blind in
Exactly.
that hand.
Yeah.
See?
He would have checked his option, missed the flop, gave up.
You know when I bluff? When I know they're going to fold.
Right. That's right.
So never.
That's why no one thinks he bluffs, because it always works.
That's true.
That's right.
That's true.
Nobody
Exactly.
knows my
Burke, you're dressed up
troubles.
really nice today.
It's
Yeah,
a day
you
three.
did.
Why are you dressed up so nice
This
today,
is
Berkey?
day 3 attire, baby.
Hey!
We did it.
We did it. Well,
Yo, you rip those jeans yourself or what?
Yeah, the journey is not over. I didn't even really want to talk about it, to be honest.
I know, but we had to, like, you know.
Is this
just
an
mention it a little
emotional
bit.
thing? You don't want to like jinx it or something? Why
You
do
know, honestly, it's a weird. I don't really know how to talk about this. I was gonna come in and play the whole bit of like, the World Series is great, everything is on, but I couldn't even sell myself on it. I think that with each passing year and every deep run and final table that you make, it becomes more another byproduct of the job, I guess. Like, winning this tournament would mean the world to me, but also at the same time, I don't have the same pie-eyed, warped
look at me.
For those
sense
who
of
don't
reality.
know, it's the 2,500 bracelet event. 22 left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Berkey has.
Do we
I
have
think,
the chip counts
a lot
up?
of chips.
Guapo? Yeah, if you can get that. Right now, you're second in chips.
Yeah.
5 milli.
5.4, I think.
Down from your peak, right? You were at like 6.
No, they just misreported.
Oh, unfortunate.
No, very fortunate. I bagged peak.
Oh, yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's very hard
wow.
to do. I'm trailing only the cocksucker Miskowski.
Yep.
It's a battle of the
CSM.
balls.
What's his
Yes.
full name?
That's
his full name.
That's his birth name.
His birthright.
But yeah, I don't have the same misconceptions of how much control I have any longer.
That's because you're 2 of 22. You're not 2 of 2. You know, like there's
Right,
still a full
but-
tournament to be played.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been in this spot a lot and expected to win.
Yeah.
And
That's-
honestly, like I don't know which one's better, because in the past I've come into the situation fully expecting to win and almost always final tabled and, you know, finished in a top 4, top 5 slot.
What do the short stacks look like right now, Guapo? Sorry. Going back.
They're probably somewhere between like 10 to 20 bigs.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the
so-
shortest stack has like 10. Yeah, so we come back to 60K big blinds, so
Oh, baby.
9 blinds, 10 blinds,
Yeah.
and 15 blinds.
It all-
You're,
it all
you're
happens
under
low.
10 big blinds behind CSM.
Yeah, all I gotta do is bust a shorty.
Yep.
I have a good table draw too. Yeah, everything is aligning for things to go well for me. That frightens me more than actually being in the spot. I'd much rather have things work against me.
Well,
I
when you're
think.
younger, you had more entitlement. Now you're older, you have more expectation.
Yeah, I think that's a good
You know what
way.
I mean? Like when you're younger, you're like,
framing
oh,
it.
like of course I'm gonna win. I deserve to win.
Yeah. Right.
I'm better than everyone.
Yeah,
But just
yeah.
like
It's
days
my
have passed, I'm going to be down there on the rail with beers.
With your
So
glasses.
whoever wants to come down and, you know, have some beers and
I wish
scream
we had a
really
tortoise
loudly
costume.
and inappropriately, come on down.
He
Let's root
goes,
Berkey on.
he goes, on a scale of 1 to 10, how drunk do you want me to get today?
You gotta bring back these. You gotta get these out of the.
Oh,
retirement.
maybe I should.
That's a true
No,
friend.
these are-
Yes.
His drunk phase has mostly left him. I mean, he reserves it for very special occasions.
Exactly.
This followed by a night of karaoke is going to be
Oh,
the one where
man.
he just blacks the fuck out.
I
Are
have
you
to
going to bring
go-
back
gonna
the
be-
Wolverine?
We should have the tortoise like do a little vlog for
Oh, I
us.
love that.
Well, I would say we should have him live stream whenever we get to the final table, but that's too much technology for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the rail going,
Just
how's
have
this goddamn Instagram
Yeah,
live
especially
work?"
8
his
beers
face
deep,
instead
like-
of the actual thing.
He's
How do I
like pointing
turn
at the
this
table, just him
around?
stare.
And he thinks he's recording, but it's just like him on Instagram actually not pressing a button.
Yeah.
He's like, Michelle, how does this fucking thing work?
Yeah, he's just FaceTiming Michelle.
Oh man, that'd be great. There are. Go ahead.
We're super excited for you, though. Like, I am
I'm
over
glad.
the moon. I can't believe this is happening.
It's
I really
can't.
can't.
it's funny because he's very excited and I'm very realistic.
I feel
for you.
nothing, and
Yeah,
that
that's
kind of
good.
worries me.
No,
That's where I'm
No,
at.
that's good.
That's
yeah.
good.
No, that's
I'm not sure it is.
that's when you play your best, though.
I don't know if that's true.
That is definitely true. When you don't care at all,
Yeah.
that's when you play your best.
Apathy is the king of rational decision
I would,
making.
yes, you're right. It is the king of rational decisions, but I would make a slightly compelling argument that emotional decisions, especially this late, are kind of good to be in touch with.
Why?
Yeah.
Because everybody else is generally going to be operating on some spectrum of emotion. Now, don't get me wrong, the Germans remaining in the field, I think there's 2 of them, are probably a 1 on that scale.
Okay.
But we are human, so like some emotional investment in every decision does exist.
Okay.
And when you're kind of like present and tapped into your own emotional bias, it also allows you, I think, to kind of understand and pick up on the emotional biases of others.
Yeah.
So you don't find yourself in a spot where you have like a 0 EV bluff catcher and flick it in because you think like, oh, this guy's competent, only to realize later that this is the biggest stage he's ever been on and he just has 0 bluffs in this note.
Right.
Right.
Is this where you start asking your opponents like their tournament history? Like, is this
Yeah.
like how big is like you kind of gauge how big of a tournament it is for them?
Right,
Like,
yeah,
do you
yeah.
play online? Like, do you play live tournaments at all? And they're like, oh, like this is the first live tournament I ever played. It's like, okay, this guy ain't bluffing river.
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just start finding out some things.
I
here
should
and
do
there.
more of the standard research where
Some
you like
research.
where you look into everyone's hand and mob and try to figure out.
Does that really matter?
I mean, it does in the sense
Yeah.
of live experience, but I don't think it does in the sense of like ability.
Yeah, 'cause, like, if
there's
you
a
look
bunch
at-
of French guys left that I'm going to look and their hand and
Right.
mob's going to be like $12.
Exactly.
But it's obvious to me
There
that they
are
play
a bunch of French
well.
guys left. Like
Yeah,
half the field is like
The French and the Japanese squads came in full this year.
Yeah.
And they've been showing out.
Yeah.
StarCraft guy won a bracelet.
Yeah, do you know who?
StarCraft guy?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
I don't know.
Yellow one. Thank you very
yeah,
much.
yeah.
That's not racist. just
I know
let
his
you
name's Yellow.
His name's Yellow.
What? Okay, so who is he? Like,
He was one of the. So there were
I'm glad I remember StarCraft.
two huge players back in the day of StarCraft Brood War. This is StarCraft 1.
Okay.
And one was Boxer. He was known as like the most creative person ever to have played. Now this is back before, the Solver era almost of StarCraft Brood War. But he was one of the most creative persons in all of Brood War. And
Yeah.
Yellow was his rival the whole
Ooh.
time. So Yellow was he was also creative, but I would say just like overall solidly mechanical player. And both of those guys, Slayer's Boxer and Yellow, made the transition into poker, and they're both doing really well now.
Wow, sick.
What
I
event
think-
did he win?
I think
The
Yellow just won.
1979 Hall of Fame.
Oh,
bounty.
that's right. Yep.
Yellow just won like a Venetian a couple days ago too.
Really?
So
Wow, he's
he
on
just
fire.
won that, and now he won his first bracelet.
Ooh.
Pressure.
Yeah.
And if you notice, one Mr. Conrad Simpson is not here.
Hold on, I have to vamp
Is
real
he-
quick because we're looking up Yellow.
Well, while you do that, shout out to
gotcha.
Colin Roundtree who just hit us with a $5 super chat. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Much
Where
obliged.
does this money go?
We get it. YouTube takes their
YouTube
cut.
takes their little piece. Yeah,
I think
of course.
Conrad
I
has.
think we get like $3 of the 5.
Oh, so Conrad takes all the money.
No,
Yeah.
Conrad has all. He's taking care of it, making sure it goes into the bank.
So what happens is
When
they
you-
mail us a check. This is ridiculous that that's what they do, by the way. And I still haven't gone to the mailbox. We have like $10,000 worth of checks in the mailbox, which we should probably get those cash.
You think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's time.
We really
But-
have 10,000.
No.
We've made $15K this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm shocked too.
We're killing it.
Yeah, we're averaging like $2K a month since we started the pod.
That's not bad.
Really paying the bills, boys.
Okay, split 7 ways.
Okay.
No, really all we're doing is paying for thumbnails.
Yeah.
All right, now the super chats are rolling
What
in.
about
Shout out to
Guapo now?
Wait, what?
Guapo's not getting paid.
I thought you were paying him.
I'm not paying him.
I'm not paying him. I thought you were paying
No
him.
one's paying Guapo?
Guapo, you just here?
He's working for free?
Conrad will pay you. Guapo.
Conrad will pay you off the tab. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, yeah, Guapo. We'll put it on the tab. We'll put it on Conrad's
tab now.
tab.
This is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
those super chat, they go straight to paying off Conrad's tab. So
Yeah,
rolling in.
please help.
Shout out to Mark.
If you're not even
Thank you
helping us at this
guys.
point, you're just only helping
They're really
Conrad.
coming.
Yeah,
Shout out to
they're coming in.
Mario
Aw,
Georgiev.
thanks, guys.
Please, this is for Guapo.
thank you, Mario. Mario's a repeat offender. He always sends some
While
money.
we're
Thank you.
paying the bills, Guapo, why don't you hit him with that preview we have of this week's On Second Thought? To run you through the hand breakdown, it was Landon versus Nate Gust. Sorry, that's
Seriously?
our production guy. Jesus Christ. Nate Siersky, former Academy attendee. Blind on blind battle. We'll just let the video do the talking. Blind vs. Blind in No Limit Hold'em is a unique island that rarely presents itself elsewhere in the game dynamics. The beauty of this spot is that the lack of intimate knowledge of correct frequencies leads to a lot of street poker.
I'm gonna float with devious intentions here.
2 ranges, both wide, where both players are defaulting back to their game theory pillars in order to try to intuit a strategy on the fly. In other words, mistakes will be made.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. Guess we're just not gonna win any pots today.
I can say that without a shadow of a doubt, this proved to be the most exploitative hand by both parties that we have ever examined on Second Thought. If you guys are interested on more On Second Thought or Poker Out Loud, head over to solveforwhy.io. Honestly, like that's one of my favorite pieces of content that I create for the site. I hope you guys enjoy it. Shout out to Lily Newhouse. She said Melissa needs a coffee. Don't let my $5
Thank
go to
you,
Conrad.
Lily.
Hey, Lily.
That's right. I do need a coffee.
Sponsored by Diet Coke.
Everybody's saying like they want a refund if it's going to Conrad's dad.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It'll just go into the abyss. It's never coming up
That's
back.
true.
It could be a
anywhere.
coffee fund. It could be whatever you want it
I mean,
to be.
How
indirectly
else
it
is
is going
Berkey
to
supposed
me.
to get paid back?
It's true. It's true. If you
Well,
guys,
you know what? Maybe you will because Conrad is in day 2 of the 7-7.
Dude, if
Yes.
Jaman wins 777,
Will that pay off the tab? 7.
God, no.
it'll be close.
half.
$777,000.
I'll tell you what. No, it's in excess of the tab, obviously, but.
Hopefully.
Is it obvious?
Well, no, it's not obvious. But what should actually happen is that if Conrad wins the 7777777,
When?
that he should keep $7,777. Give me the rest
Yes.
to put in safekeeping for
But this
him.
happened last time, and then he asked for it back in
I think
like a couple
I'm honestly
days.
going to hold him down, seize the money, and create a trust fund for him.
This is hilarious that he owes you so much money and you're good enough to just be like, I'm going to hold it here for you. You're not paying off the top. I'm going to hold it here for you, Conrad, because I know with this 7K, you're going to enter a 5K and then go.
This happened last time. You did say you.
Well,
held
I
it,
didn't.
right?
I wasn't very proactive about it. I just said like, yeah, I'll hold
You
the
were kinda
money, and like a day
saying
later,
things-
he's like, give it all back.
You were kind of saying things you didn't really mean them.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much responsibility there was to keep someone like him in line with the 6-figure roll. I'm just like, I can't, man. I can't manage all these decisions.
Oh my God,
He's like, I want a car, and I want to play a 10K, and I want a girlfriend. I'm gonna get married, and holy shit, give me all my money back.
Wait a minute, because I can't miss an episode. This is what you guys are gonna do when I'm not here.
Yes.
We do gaslight
Nah.
everybody who doesn't
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah.
It's a real
Yeah.
problem.
Yep.
It's
Where's
just the way
Christian?
it is.
No, we got him yesterday.
Okay.
We got more super chats. Shout out to Corey
Wow.
Jean. She said, this one is for Blind Brian. Would have lost the 6-3
No,
XX.
this is for the one
Landon
blind.
went bust with cheers all. Keep the pod coming.
It's not blind Brian. This is for the one blind Brian would have
Oh.
lost.
I thought he was referencing the Versace shades.
Blind Brian.
I thought it was the shades reference.
No. So in that hand, Brian probably would have lost the one big blind he already had invested. I lost everything but one big
Right,
blind.
yes, of
Yeah.
course. Jaman, shout out to him. He hit us with
Thank you.
$20. He came and railed me yesterday, and I just look at him and I go, bro, I cannot do it with this stash right now. He has this like creepy 70s porn
He's
stash
got the
going.
wings going.
He didn't even realize he has it anymore. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, your fucking mustache, man. Like, what is this thing? He goes, I think I'm going to trim it down and get the Hitler stash going. I go, you are going to get canceled. He goes, I'm uncancelable.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Jaman's the best, though.
It's the thing now. Mustaches are in these days.
Yeah, my nephew tried selling me on this.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
buying it.
I'm not into it. Like I've never been into a solo stash.
No.
But it's like all these guys on like
Honestly,
the dating apps.
I
They
think-
all have
You know
mustaches.
what it is? It's the Midwest trying to reclaim their position in
that what it
America.
is?
Yeah,
I think
they're
only
saying
one-
like, you coasters have had too much time in the shine. We're gonna come back. We're gonna reclaim the mustache from the fucking hipsters out
I
there.
don't know if
I
it's
saw
that.
one person with the mustache only. And it looks good. Yuri.
Yeah, Yuri rocks the stash.
Yuri rocks the mustache only.
That I can
Travis
agree
from
with.
Pigtails, he's got one going.
No, not feeling it.
No.
Justin's pretty good with it.
Justin.
Young.
He has full beard.
Wait, his facial hair is just always on point. No matter what he does.
Except at Halloween when he shaves into an Amish beard, it looks so.
Oh no.
weird.
Halloween.
And honestly, like
every Halloween.
he's one of few people who, to me, just looks like non-human when he actually shaves his face bald. He does it like once a year or so, and then his beard grows back in like 24 hours.
Exactly. I think he just like snaps his fingers and then he has a full beard.
It's wild, man. It's so wild. Oh man, I didn't even want to get into this. Salam hit us with a super chat. He said, "Can't wait for the Zhang tangent."
Wow, thank you.
I didn't really have one prepared. I don't want to bash the guy. Like,
Oh, of course
everything
not.
we love
he played
about
his
him.
game, and sometimes that happens.
Everything we love about him is what led to his demise.
Right,
Yeah.
of course.
Right? It's just like, what are we going to do? We're going to suddenly criticize that he didn't play GTO?
He was either going to have a 3x chip lead over second place, or he was going to be out. Like that's just how it was going to work.
You know, when you live
Fortunately, it was
by
a
the
ladder.
sword, sometimes you die by the sword.
That is a saying.
But you respect the sword.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta give credit. And it was fun to watch. It was entertaining to watch. And, like, what else can you say?
It's not like he was.
Everyone's always gonna be the ones that's like, oh, man, like, he, like, blew it or, like, made some, like, bad plays or whatever. But it's like, most of the time when it's coming from, like, an armchair quarterback type of situation, the person talking about it never gets in that spot in the first place for themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. Like, his timing is everything. The day before, all of his moves worked out. When he was bluffing, it got through.
Yeah.
When he had it got called.
Yeah.
And, you know, they weren't all the most calculated bluffs.
Right.
That eventually comes back to bite you. Like, when you're running it with red deuces on Queen, Jack, 10, 8, 4, 3 spades, like, you know, you're going to run into the Jack 9 with the Jack of spades some of the time.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. And honestly, it's just like, if he had been able to find, because I think he played the big stack better than anybody in the event. And I think that him and Rigby the year before really shine a light on this inflection stage between like 100 down to like 30.
Right. Like, you can call it pressure. Like,
People are just shitting bricks during that phase. But like, once you get down to like the 35, 30-ish mark, yeah, people are still careful, but it becomes a lot more polarizing. Everybody can see the finish line.
Right.
So some really tighten up and just try to ladder.
Yeah.
And then others recognize, like, well, we're still 30 people away from this mattering.
Yeah.
And I'm guaranteed a good payday already.
And there's like opportunities to chip up if everyone else at your
It's
table's
so
playing
hard to
tight.
have that perspective.
I
Especially
feel like that's
Well,
where
when
you're
it's
at.
working, it's hard to switch gears back.
Yeah.
That's where you're at now with poker and tournaments. Like, for yourself.
I think
for your
so.
Tier 22. Where it's
Yeah.
like, you know, this has already happened, and obviously, like, you want to win, and like, winning is nice, but at the same time, there's still people here, and there's still 22 people left in the tournament.
Yeah.
It's not a final table yet where it's like, okay, every decision comes with a pay jump.
Right.
Here it's like, pay jumps matter relatively in some situations, but what's more important is having the chips to be able to win and do something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you just have to, you
feel
really have
calm.
to find some sort of temperament between going way too hard and going hard with some calculation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about Berkey's strategy.
Especially like, I think that people downplay the amount that just taking the blinds down repetitively like adds up. And if you have a chip lead, like that's how chip leaders maintain their chip lead is by taking
Right, because
blinds
you
down
don't
over
really
and
just
over.
steal blinds. Big
There's-
blind defends a lot.
Yeah.
And you still now.
But in ICM, like they fold a lot more than
Right.
they would normally.
Right, but what I'm getting at is like their defense is still largely weak.
Yeah.
So like you get to take down in a slightly larger pot over
like
and
any
over.
flop that favors you, it's just like snap fold.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
There's like a lot of small, like low variance chipping up that happens during that time when people are too focused on themselves not busting.
Right. Yeah. I think he put on a masterclass of how to navigate the larger stack in that inflection stage. I also think he put on a masterclass of like how not to manage a middling stack.
Yeah.
But you know, that comes
the
with
game.
the territory.
Yeah, it's
that's
just part
the
of the
game.
game.
What are we gonna
Like,
do?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be entertaining for 5 days on coverage for WSOP.
Loved watching this guy. Loved watching Lococo. These guys are just gangster.
Yeah.
Rooting hard for them. Man, what a storyline it could have been if Corey and Lococo
Back-to-back final tables.
back-to-back run it. Like, come on. Even just to make back-to-back deep runs is like so crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
They both finished sub
Statistically.
100, right?
Yeah, Corey got like I think 79th or 80th,
Yeah,
and Lococo got like
38th.
37th or 38th. Yeah. And Damon Salas still in the fucking
Still
mix.
in, yeah.
Won the
Euro
Fugazi
online.
year,
Yeah.
if you will. Final table got 7th. Was that 2011 when Phil Collins final tabled? No.
Who was it?
Damian Salas.
You got
He got 7th. Maybe it was 2015.
in the main event?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He got 7th, maybe like
Phil
somewhere between 5 and
Collins,
10 years
the
ago.
Musician?
Yeah.
Stop.
Every time we say Phil Collins, it's maybe
No,
the musician.
USC
You
Phil.
can't be named Phil Collins and not be the musician.
Well, he is. His parents hate
It's-
him, obviously.
It's not his real name.
It'd be like
There's one Phil Collins.
Yeah, there's one Michael Jordan, but you know what? There's actually thousands
Yeah,
of
I
them.
guess
Michael B.
that's
Jordan.
fair.
Michael
I would definitely go by Philip though if my name were Phil Collins.
Philip C.
I would
You
go
go by
by, yeah.
Philip?
I think I would go
anything
by Philip.
Yeah.
You got to separate yourself.
Like William Smith, who was in the main event, who busted yesterday.
but- Oh.
He was William Smith, not Will
Right.
Smith.
Right. Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chad Hunter. Hit us with a super chat. He said, since you're all talking main event topic, shout out to SETI for knocking out Zhang and playing his hand perfectly. He really did. For those of you guys who didn't catch it, I believe he flatted out of the big blind with ace jack off, jack of clubs. Came jack 4-5, 2 clubs. Zhang in there, mixing it up off of 20 with the 7-6-0. No club. C-bet, check raise, call, turn, 6 of clubs, jam, YOLO. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yep.
I thought that was one that he probably could have gotten away from, but, whatever. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. His was super chat. Thank you for the amazing podcast. Man, you guys are the best.
They
You
all
guys
want to
really are
pay
the best.
Guapo.
They what?
They want to pay Guapo.
They're doing a good job of it. They're doing a very good job of it. There was another story before we continue on with the main event stuff. I want to bring attention to this. And I don't have a ton to say about it just because I don't know exactly how the Caesars policy works and how much control or influence WSOP has over this.
Right.
But the man who dressed up as Jack Sparrow, which, by the way, like, there's so much irony in this, just in the sense of, like, the timing is not great. Like,
why? Johnny Depp won.
I get it,
Yeah.
but, like, I don't.
It was for the mystery bounty.
Yeah.
They hired him for
They
the mystery
hired him
bounty.
for the
No,
mystery bounty.
I know
to be
that. I know that. But
Pirates Bounty.
But like it's a stretch to go from bounty to booty, and then we're doing Jack Sparrow.
It's a fun
I don't. It's
thing.
just
the
It's
treasure
a
chest.
The
It's
pirates
a
get
lot.
the treasure chest. It's
yeah,
a chest.
okay,
But
fine.
the thing
I
is,
guess.
the guns that he had.
Yeah, he didn't need prop guns.
Listen, so I played with him for most of. I sat right next to him for most of day 2.
You
the
said
main
like the
event.
tortoise and Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, we were just hanging out. But yeah, he had so much shit in his bag, and he was
Why
just
did
throwing
he
it on the
need-
table. He had like 3 different fans, which I understand. It gets really hot in that costume. But then, yeah, he had these like
It's a little
2
dramatic, but
very, very obvious toy guns that he threw, on the
Yeah.
table. And we all laughed. We're like, damn, well, you got the guns too. Like, and nobody even thought like, holy shit, this guy's bringing guns in here. Like, it was like, they were obviously
Clearly
plastic
fake.
yeah,
toy
but
guns.
you can understand the policy.
right.
I-
I mean,
yeah,
the thing is,
yeah.
you don't need the gun. We know you're a pirate.
Right.
Without the
The
gun.
costume has sold itself
It
at
wasn't
this
like we
point.
didn't know
He
what
also
was
had
going
a
on.
fake sword.
The
Did they
fake
gonna
sword,
come after him
I
for the
think,
fake sword?
seems more appropriate to me
Yeah.
than the guns.
But, like-
I mean, it's like, I guess pirates had guns, but we don't.
I would have
regardless,
preferred a
we
fake
know
parrot,
he's a pirate.
to be honest.
Yeah, a parrot would be great.
And then
if
shoulder
you're-
parrot.
Yeah,
You know?
if you're gonna go for it,
It's-
like, we don't need the weapons.
It's not like you see the costume.
He said he's getting a monkey.
we get it. Well, he's not getting shit because he's not welcome back now. Apparently.
Yeah, it seemed a little extreme.
It's a bit
A little
extreme,
extreme to
Just tell
ban
him
him
he can't have
So-
for
them.
life.
So here's the thing. This is what I understand about it. He was in the main event. They found out about the prop guns. They asked him to turn them in. He did. Once he busted, Caesars then alerted him. He went to go get his guns or whatever, and they alerted him that he had been trespassed. So I'm guessing they're just following protocol. And generally speaking, these big conglomerates don't make exceptions to the rules.
Right.
They just have black and white hardcore protocol. And if you breach it, they ban you. Now, the issue is that WSOP hired him. As
Right.
far as I understand, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Maybe they didn't hire him.
Oh, according to him, this is coming straight from his
That's
mouth.
the problem. It's coming
Right.
from him.
He said they hired him. He said they bought his way into the main event.
That would make sense.
Right?
Wow.
They said he said they hired him to do this. They said they have a whole slate of things they're going to do, like commercials with him,
And
with
they wanted him to be
and like
dressed up.
Helmuth, and to like bolster up, the WSOP. They bought his way into the main event. So it's like according to him, he was heavily involved in the WSOP
Right.
and marketing and everything
Yeah.
for that.
Right. So,
So
if,
weird.
if that's true, which it very well could be, and the report was that WSOP went to bat for him and said, like, we don't want him 86th or whatever. But we have to remember that WSOP is like just a very tiny arm of Caesars Entertainment.
Very small.
So I don't know how much influence or control they actually have over this. I have a reasonable degree of confidence that this will be cleared up by next WSOP. When I say reasonable, I mean, like, I think there's a 35% chance that by next WSOP he's unbanned.
Right.
So I don't have a high degree of confidence, but I think that there's, some probability that
There's
that
hope.
he gets
Sounds right.
freed.
There's hope.
Free the pirate.
The issue is that it's going to be a corporate mess, and there's going to be a ton of red tape that he's going to have to go through. But if he really was a hired prop actor by WSOP, that should bode well for him, right? especially if they didn't inform him that he can't bring prop guns.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's not necessarily just logical and intuitive. Like, sure, when we talk about it now, it's obvious. Like, don't bring something that represents a weapon.
Right.
But it's not. It's like you have the costume of a pirate, and you see the guns. You're like, oh my god, now it's definitely a pirate.
You
Right,
can't bring like fake guns to a school. So
Yeah.
it should be sort of the same.
So yeah, I just wanted to draw attention to it because I don't know a ton. There was an article written and published by Hayley Hintz that kind of details the whole, I guess, timeline of events a little bit better than I may be outlining now. But I didn't want this to just go away. I don't know who we can put pressure on because I don't think it's the WSOP here. Like, I think they're well aware of the issue. I think that they're probably trying to work the back channels as best they can to get this remedied because, again, they brought him there. But with that said, like, this is also one of those things where if we don't say anything about it, it just gets swept under the rug maybe. Yeah. And that 35% might drop to 10.
Or less.
Justice for pirate.
I asked him if he could guess who my favorite baseball team was, and he said he had no idea.
Wow.
He did. I don't know. I'm like, the Pirates.
Right, maybe he deserved to be 86.
Yeah, get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Come on, that was a layup.
I know.
That was a layup.
Just set it right up
You
there.
probably had a fucking Buccos hat on. And you said, "Hey, what's my favorite baseball team?" The Cubs.
I want to talk about some good things. We're going to get the compliment sandwich going for the main event right now.
Okay.
I've been working on this a little bit more, trying to soften my delivery. I get told I'm a little too hard.
Stay hard.
Still 35 remaining in the main event right now. One female remains. Still outside hope for her to final table and or win.
Yeah.
I believe she's 15 of 35.
What's her name?
I spent some time on this, okay? I Googled it. I listened to the pronunciation over and over again. I apologize because I'm still going to butcher it for sure. But it's Efthymia Litsou.
Efthymia Litsou, last woman standing in the main event. But
yeah.
of course, just like everyone else, you're playing for the $10 million top prize. Talk to me about your tournament so far. How have you experienced all of this?
Yeah, I've never played a structure like this before, so it's all very new to me. It's been quite nice because you can take your time, wait for good hands. So I love the structure. It's been good. It's been hard, long days, but it's been nice.
The title of last woman standing, does that mean much to you, or are you only looking at the top prize?
I am a bit selfish. I mean, to be honest, I wish there wasn't such a title. I wish there were a lot more women playing. So hopefully that will happen in the future. So I don't relish on the title.
So then we have, quite a lot of poker left to be played. Do you feel adrenaline? Are you starting to get tired, or do you feel as though the game that you've been playing to lead up to this point is something you can sustain for a few more days?
I'm actually quite relaxed. It hasn't sunk in yet, so I'm not feeling either way. To be honest, I'm just chilled.
That's awesome. And what about the support from friends and family? Is everyone realizing the type of experience you're going through right now?
My friends and my husband unfortunately can't be here. One of my friends is actually flying over. They have. My family back in Greece, not really. I haven't talked to them about it, so they'll hear it on the news.
So I'm wondering, though, how did you end up in the main event? If your family doesn't even know, you came out here from Greece. Everybody's very curious about your story.
Oh, okay, I live in New York. So I live in New York with my husband and my kids, and I qualified through a satellite, and that's why I'm here. But yeah, my family back in Greece, I haven't really talked to them about it.
It's going to be a fun phone call when you say, hey, hello, I won $10 million.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that.
See, I'm just excited for you. I want you to make the final table.
I know you're excited. I'm trying to stay calm for now.
Okay. I will cut it out with my excitement. Enjoy your dinner break.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
She's Team Tortoise right there, huh? I'm just gonna take my time and make good hands.
Yeah, if I'm gonna pick someone, she's so chill.
She's awesome.
So centered.
Yeah.
She's more apathetic than I am right now. She's
but
playing
it's
for
intentional.
For 10
She knows what she's doing.
She's just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
So,
it.
like, they deal
I like
you ace
that.
king if you wait long enough.
I like
She's
that.
got tortoise vibes, and I love it.
Strategic
Yeah.
genius, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I think given her chip position and the strategy she's trying to employ, barring a cooler, I think she's there at the final two tables.
Yeah.
She seems solid.
Yeah. I would buy that pony.
Yes.
Me
too.
I would invest in that
Yeah.
stake horse right there.
It's crazy that she has that mentality and she satellited in.
I know.
Normally when you satellite in, you're just like, oh, I'm looking for that $20,000 pay
Right.
jump.
They're like, I can't even believe I made this much, and then they just like spew it
Well,
off.
at some point though, at some point you get over the arc or over the hump, and it just becomes a proverbial free roll.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I'm guaranteed 200,000. That's more money than I ever thought I could ever earn in a poker tournament.
Right.
So
It's
like,
all this like not the same number necessarily, but it's all like too big to to even recognize
Quantify
what the
it,
hell's
yeah.
going on anymore.
when the irony is the exact opposite should be happening because you're increasing your net worth like so rapidly. Each pay jump is actually more important than the last because the amount of money that you're gambling for with each pay jump is more than you should be tolerant to risk. You know what I mean?
You should be offloading a lot of that. In a theoretical
like you should be
perspective.
selling
your
10% at ICM at like every pay jump until you get to the final table and you have like 8% of yourself if you're responsible.
I think that's really common too, right? Like people, once they make the final table, they'll sell. Let's say they're third in chips, they'll start selling.
It's not common, but there's a marketplace for it.
I've seen it for online final tables and stuff,
really?
like the big ones during like on GG and stuff. I've heard about that happening.
Okay. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say last year I can't remember who did it.
It was Walters.
Oh yeah, Derek Walters. He created a marketplace for this where he put out ICM prices. I don't know if he did it exactly when they made the money or if he waited till like day 4 or day 5. It was probably too much work, but it would have been fun it's fun to make games out of this because this is the thing we don't do enough as a community. And honestly, I would love to find a way to spearhead this because I think that there's an opportunity here for sure.
To create like a marketplace, kind of like who's going to final table. And give
there are so
odds,
many fun marketplaces
like
that can be created out of the main
chips,
event, exactly. And so many people bust and still want to sweat.
Right, like it's like effective. You could create your own props, basically.
Yes, yeah. And not even necessarily in the traditional form of props, like when we think about football, like coin toss and stuff like that, but more so like investment models almost. Where you're trying to create a fair exchange between betting on those that are still in versus laying a proper price to where you're not taking on so much risk one way or the other that the market can't get filled.
We can call it poker props.
We could call it poker props.
Liberation.
I don't know the legality of all this. Is the only problem.
I don't
probably
either.
difficult.
Just do it on crypto.
Well, like even the main event,
blockchain.
the main event fantasy thing that we ran. I don't know the legality of all that.
I
just know
I think if
we didn't take a cut, so I assume
if you
it's
don't
no
take
big
a cut,
deal.
then I think it's always fine.
Yeah, but there's no incentive to run
hope.
something at scale if you're not taking a cut of some
Right,
sort.
of course. Once you do that, then it's dicey.
Yeah, of course. Okay, now I want to talk about something that is a lot more important. I actually missed this part of the coverage. I scrubbed through a bunch trying to find it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. But thankfully, Norman Chad tweeted it. I'm not really sure what prompted all of this. I don't know if it was
what he said.
Wait, what?
Did you see what he said? You didn't see it?
I did. So I have the written copy of it, but I didn't actually see it in the coverage. Did you see it in the coverage?
No.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't find it.
Bill Galfond, right?
Yeah. But I don't know what prompted this. Like, did Galfond write a statement that he then sent to Norm to read? I guess I'm a little bit confused on how the logistics of all this came to be. But in any event, basically, Galfond went public via Norman Chad and released a statement regarding the cheating in the industry and said, regarding Ali, Jake Schindler cheating allegations, my understanding is that the evidence that Jake and Ali cheated is overwhelming, and my stance is that this type of cheating they engaged in is so different than is no different than theft. They've stolen millions of dollars from their peers and from recreationals. I think it's important to point out that the casual fan, that while public accusations of cheating are unfortunately all too common, the majority are unproven and many turn out to be untrue. And some that relate to minor offenses or gray areas get way too much attention. This particular scandal is especially deserving of attention and consequences. I think they shouldn't be competing at the WSOP at a minimum for 10 years. I wholeheartedly agree. I've said many times I think it should be a lifetime ban.
Same.
I think that everybody should get the death penalty, especially to the level of cheating that took place with this ring. Like, we've tried to convey to the public how bad this is, but there's still a lot of details that we hear in passing through reputable sources that I can't necessarily pass along. But it's so much worse, right? Like, everything that we've said has happened and then some. Right? It's just like anything that you can imagine that is deriving an unfair edge they're taking part in. Just to finish the statement, he says, I don't say this lightly. This type of cheating that warrants a ban like this must be a clear, high threshold, and does the level of certainty that the cheating took place. So, basically Phil is throwing all of his weight behind this council of peers, which I was surprised he wasn't on. I think he's always seen as the arbiter of truth in this industry.
Yeah, people go to Phil for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, whether it's being the arbiter of prop bets or whatever, like he's very fair. I think Mike McDonald would have been a good choice as well. He strikes me as somebody who's very fair, logical, and lacks empathy. Yeah. So I think those people are very necessary.
He just kind of sees the situation for what it is and then says what the answer is.
Yeah, I think people like that are necessary.
Maybe wait till the main event when the most eyes would be on.
In the same token, I think these guys don't want that responsibility.
Maybe
it is a lot, and maybe at scale, like you.
Well, we can compensate as a community in some capacity, somewhere down the line.
Sure, but also at scale, like you could become a target for a lot of these.
Yeah.
Let's say it's like a huge mob ring that gets busted.
Right.
Do you want to be at odds with the mob? Like,
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, there's obviously a lot of incentive for shady behavior, and there's certain subcultures in this world that are more prone to shady behavior than others. So I think your point's valid. Organized crime getting involved is certainly not out of the question, and nobody really wants to be the mouthpiece fighting out against them unless you're a legal entity. But I mean, I wanted to draw attention to this because when Phil speaks, we should listen. I think that's clear, and I think the community tends to adhere to that. But B, I think that there are a lot of people trying to dampen the messaging of how bad this is. I saw Lynn retweet somebody yesterday. The tweet ended up getting deleted. His name's Manny. He's like a local cash grinder. And basically he just tried to kind of poo-poo everything. It was a weird message. He's like, I'm going to leave Twitter with this message and I'm not afraid of burning any bridges. And then he just didn't say anything. But it was basically just criticizing the community for being forward-facing and outbursting over all of these scandals. Saying we're calling attention to this for clicks and that, a lot of us shouldn't speak because we're not actually in that arena. And other things along the lines of it's nowhere near as bad as it's being portrayed. I never hear high stakes regs talking out about cheating because it just doesn't really happen, yada yada yada. And I think the actual pushback there is all of that's just fundamentally wrong. We are in the arena and we are in the arena adjacent too. It's I've grown up in this game with every single person who is anywhere remotely close to my age in the high roller scene. And they're, dealing with this day in and day out. Guys like Jason Kuhn and I speak all the time. He's right on the front lines of all this, but he can't be a mouthpiece for it. So it's you create messaging channels that alert the public and allow them to be more informed. I also think that it's really critical to not downplay what's taking place here, right? It's easy to point back to the Fedor Cruz thing when he got busted for RTA and say nothing came of it. And publicly that's true. And that's a failing on our behalf as a community because it is adhering to what was being suggested of it's not that rampant. If you talk about it, it's only for attention and clicks and you don't even play in those games. So what business is it of yours? And it's the problem is when we let those stories fall by the wayside, it allows a whole new population of cheaters to enter the scene and do so anonymously and more efficiently than the previous collection. Mm-hmm. It's Fedor Cruz doesn't get caught if his roommate doesn't dime him out.
Yeah,
right?
Of course not.
Ali and Jake are still flying under the radar if he doesn't go so far as to rubberneck Paul Fua, right? Don't get me wrong, something was going to let this come out, but we needed something that wasn't going to be liable, right? So him rubbernecking and looking at Paul Fua's cards was more than enough for Foxen to finally break the silence. And nobody talks about this enough. Foxen deserves so much fucking credit for being the guy who says, I'm tired of this.
It's hard to be the first.
Right, yeah. And it's important because he empowered people who have platforms like CHEATS, myself, Galfond in this instance, to come out and say, like, yes, finally. We've all known about this. We've all been talking about this since 2019, right? When the pandemic hit, we knew that this was rampant amongst at least a small collection of people and that they were taking a lot of money. Like, everyone wants to downplay this as though they were winning like hundreds of thousands in EV. Like, no, that's not it at all. It was millions of dollars for sure. And yes, they're very talented players, and that's what makes it worse, right? It's like if the optics of what we're selling to the community are being good isn't enough. You have to be the best in the game and the most cunning and the most deceptive, right? Like, you have to be willing to fight for every single unfair dollar. It's like, that's not a community that I want to be a part of.
Right.
And that shouldn't be one that young up-and-comers are aspiring to, because it's a death sentence, right? My hopes are that, like, this council listens to Phil and that 10 years is somewhere along the minimum requirement, because I say, give them the death penalty, but 10 years in poker might be the death penalty, right? If they have no incentive whatsoever to study or to get better over the next decade, they're not going to be in poker 10 years from now.
Right.
Yeah.
And it sets a really loud precedent for anybody moving forward that is potentially that big of a cheater.
Yeah.
The
It's
problem
not just
is
them. It's not-
that death penalty needs to be unanimous too, and it's so hard with
Right.
the sites that aren't regulated.
Yeah.
That can just be like, well, they just make a screen name and have a Bitcoin account.
Fine, but like at some point, we as a community have to stop being their patrons.
Agree.
Right? You just have
Agree.
to have safer options,
Agree.
and you just live with it.
Yes.
They're also not the only ones, right? Like, this Fedor Cruz thing is going to resurface. We know that he was guilty. Like, all the proof was out. Like, more actual tangible proof than we have on Ali and Jake, because Ali and Jake, we're trusting the due diligence of GG, of ACR, and all these other sites that have banned him. With Fedor, we actually have physical evidence, right? And then finally, we're all familiar with Squid, who was RTAing like heads up and just one of the most egregious cheaters. He fell off not Sam Grafton. To be clear, you know his name. I don't know his name. What is
his name?
Well, Zhuang Ran.
Yeah, him. He beat Dan Smith heads up in
John Squid.
in a high roller in Florida.
Yeah.
Where initially they chopped, and then he realized it was a bad chop, and they didn't
he
chop.
just kind of made a mistake, because like Dan said he'd only chop because I think Squid had a 2-1 chip lead, or like 1.5 to 1, and he asked to chop, and he was like, okay, sure, and he thought it was like just chip chop, but Dan meant even chop, and then he was like, oh, you didn't mean like chip chop, and he was like, no, I wanted to even chop the money. And he goes, oh, never mind, we're playing then. So then they ended up playing.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, not a lot has come to light about, I think, the methods through which he's cheated. But again, he was another character that when all of this broke, he was the first name that everybody was talking about, because he's kind of like low key. He was the one who, in a Discord group, messaged. I wish I could find the screenshot. I'll look for it. Maybe I'll find it for the next podcast. But he has a message in a Discord group where he said like something to the effect of, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Like, basically, he said, if you're born in the United States with an inherent advantage, should you penalize yourself for being born with advantages? And the implication was that, basically, if I have the availability to have this unsavory edge through RTA, and I'm smart enough to create it and to utilize it, don't I have every right to?
Yeah,
right? It's not my fault that you guys as a collective pool aren't willing to take this edge. Yeah. Which is a really scary take. Yeah, it's a very scary take whenever you're in a community that is meant to be zero sum, not negative sum.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was great of Norman to shine a light on this on air. I think that I don't think we've talked about this enough, especially in conjunction with the PokerNews stuff. Who, by the way, kudos to them. They have been doing a very diligent job. I don't know that this podcast had anything to do with it. Maybe it was their intention all along. But when these guys busted, they did very quickly link their articles of the scandals.
Right.
They were very clear in their messaging that, like, hey, know that this guy is a bad dude in the community. Right. So kudos to them for that. I don't think we speak enough about how great the PokerGo production has been. about letting their commentators speak freely on these things. Ali, Shulman, Norman Chad, they have all been very vocal in saying, like, look, the game needs to be cleaned up. We know that these guys are bad actors. We understand what they've done, and we understand to a degree how they've been punished thus far. Let's all follow suit, get them blackballed, and move forward. And that messaging has been abundantly clear to the community at large, which is really fucking important if they're going to get camera time. So I think that, like, Norman specifically deserves a lot of praise. I know that he gets a lot of heat for some of his takes. What you need to understand about Norman, he's very unwavering in his morals and his ethics. And that's incredibly commendable. If you don't like his takes, where he's rooting them in his ethic beliefs or his morality, fine, don't like it. We've had plenty of disagreements where he thinks one thing ethically and I think he's being too stringent. And that's okay. We could disagree on those things and still be friends. We could still have a meaningful conversation. He should never be condemned for that. If he doesn't like what Barstool stands for and wants to speak out against that, let him. Right. If he doesn't like the fact that we are still allowing cheats to compete at the highest levels and the biggest buy-ins for the largest prize pools, let him speak out. And I think PokerGo's done a fantastic job of giving him that stage and giving him that platform and not muting him, right? So we are taking steps in the right direction in all capacities in this game. And I think that, like, for God's sakes, we need to do a better job of propping up people that are willing to fight like this. I never have a good transition.
Yes, go Norman.
Never have a good transition out. On a lighter note, which I both love and hate this guy at the same time. So Kenny Tran is just like
Kenny.
Hey, pull up a Kenny Tran video for us, Quavo.
Kenny Tran. Big call Kenny Tran. Big call Kenny Tran. He is someone who's been in the high stakes community for quite some time, 15 years maybe. First time I met him, he big timed the fuck out of me. Mm-hmm. Just as much as you could humanly imagine. He came and sat 10-20-40 with us.
You're probably a nobody back then.
Yeah, it was like right around when I started playing nosebleeds. But he came and sat like 10-20-40, bought him for like 100,000, and then demanded that the table paid his time because we should be so thankful to be playing with Big Call Kenny. Now this guy's a motherfucking nit.
Oh my god.
That 100,000 already had dust on it when he sat down.
Can you call this?
I mean, he is the dustiest of dust when it comes to how tight he plays.
I would fold.
I call.
He called him.
It's a good call.
World-class call.
I'm a genius! Oh my God! That's got to be the greatest call in poker. That's got to be the greatest.
It's an all-timer.
How'd I call?
I don't know how he made that call.
How'd I call that? Oh my God. Am I the best? Say it. Admit it. Say it. Say it. You have to say it.
I think it's pretty good if you want.
Say it.
That is one of the top 250 calls in poker
The thing is, like, I love him though.
How could you not love that?
I love it.
The problem is it's such a fucking dog and pony show. Like, he's that way because it's the only thing that gets him any fucking action. Because he's tighter than Kessler's asshole.
Oh my god.
It's incredible. Like, and as he's aged, he's only gotten fucking tighter. He raised Ace Jack off the button yesterday, and the small blind jam for like 18, and he without hesitation just threw it right in the mug. Just right in the mug. Like the biggest auto call in the world. Like, there are old man coffees going, what? What are you doing? It's the button, bro. And he just like has no hesitation to fold. So it's like, I love his shtick. Every time Mermelstein was all in yesterday, he's just like openly anti-sweating him. Like, he has two pair versus like a flush draw. He's just like, let's root for a black card, baby. Because like the ace could like give him a full house. Yeah. The black ace could give him a full house, but everything else is just a flush. Yeah. Like, maybe a black card on the river. A black card on the river. The club comes off. He goes, oh, that's a fun one. It's like, you know, he's been that character, but he's also an edge seeker. I would say mainly in savory ways. I don't know, like, I've heard too much bad stuff about him. Shulman hit a one-liner though that was so pure on stream yesterday. I think it was Lococo accidentally like scattered his chips. His hand like came across his chips and like they flew by, and he just goes, whew, I wouldn't leave those loose chips around Kenny Tran. And it's like, man, I've been enjoying the coverage so much. Jamie, Norm, and Lon, they bring a certain wholesome brand to the early.
And
but
then the
man,
late night.
The late night show is so fucking
So
good,
funny.
man. I can't. I'll talk about it every day.
Yeah.
Every day I'll talk about it. Ali is just a fucking maniacal genius.
Yes.
Yeah,
His
that's a good
sole
way.
goal is to just make Shulman get to the brink of wanting to murder him. And speaking of murder, he was on a tangent last night about how Nick from New York knows who killed Tupac. Let it go, Najad. Let it go. And he goes, it still hurts, Nick. I haven't forgot. You have information. You know, the statute of limitation might be up. We can get you protection. He's just like, enough, Najad. And like they're just running. I'm at the table playing with 3 tables left in this 2,500, and I'm in tears. Everybody's like, "What's the matter with you?" I'm like, "I'm watching the fucking coverage. Like, it's so good. I mean, nobody feels dead air better than these two, and they're doing it in such a genuine way where I don't think Najad cares that it's going to hurt their friendship long term. He just does not care.
Some sacrifices need to be made for the people.
Bro, and Shulman's getting to the point where he's not like cutting any corners. He's not holding back any punches anymore. What the fuck was Najad talking about? He was saying something. Oh, he was constantly talking about Kim being an ice hockey player. And Shulman just goes, What is your deal with this ice hockey thing, man? Like, is it perhaps because he's Asian? and the judge just goes dead quiet. Just doesn't say a word. What do you say? And Shulman's like, we've rendered him speechless, folks.
Hard to do. It's hard to make Ali speechless.
And they navigate this so well where it's like, obviously, he's not being racist. Like, stereotypes exist, whatever. And it's this fine, fragile line of like being canceled versus being funny. And the judge just kind of like comes back in and he's just like, perhaps I'm guilty of a little stereotyping from here to there. It's just, what a fine balance they have going on. I mean, it's honestly been such a pleasure to watch. I don't know that I care that much about the main event. I mean, I do, right? It's the biggest spectacle for our sport, and we have to care and watch the coverage. But I'm locked. I'm locked in, and it's less about who's doing what, right? Because it's like watching the Super Bowl when your team's not in it. You don't care about the outcome. You're there for the show. Mm-hmm. I'm here for the show.
Yes.
They're doing a number.
Okay, this is my bad, but I forgot to say it. Ali promised me that he would come on the show.
Oh, he wants to come on the show. Don't be mistaken.
Yeah.
He said, just give me a time and I'll be there.
Nobody wants the freedom to an open mic right now more than him. Where we'll just let him be as unhinged as humanly possible.
Oh,
here.
he's fantastic.
I honestly, for her own sake, we might have to have you sit that one out.
No comment.
She just smiles.
Man. Melissa's a firecracker.
No,
huh?
honestly, like I think the exact opposite. Like I think her being here would just devolve the banter into a perfect shit story.
I think Ali and
No pun
Melissa would be
intended.
the most hilarious confrontation ever.
Yeah.
Have you met Ali before?
Just for a second.
Okay. Yeah.
The beauty of it is that I think, despite his crassness and the way that he funnels these conversations into almost personal attacks on Nick, I actually think he's like really prude when it comes to poop humor and stuff like that.
Really?
And I think that like you'll actually make him squirm.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Which
That's my
means-
favorite. I don't know what it is about me that I love to get that reaction out of people.
You like to make people uncomfortable?
I love to make people grossed out and uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's
don't
funny.
know why,
It's
but-
really funny.
Yeah, it's fun.
Is it?
It's little boy humor.
Is
Yeah.
it?
I mean, you weren't like that when you were 10?
It makes me
No.
laugh so much. Like nothing to me is funnier than making someone viscerally disgusted. To me, it's so funny.
I'm with you. I'm so with you.
You guys are both vile.
Uncle Dan is with you. That's his humor to the fullest.
Yeah.
He loves it. I'm gonna pose a question to the group, and we'll go around the room one by one, ending on Melissa. Have you ever had a group chat?
I know what you're gonna say.
Where you exchange pictures of your poop.
I knew you were gonna say that. You guys no. Literally never.
Brian?
No, I have not.
Landon?
Oh, no.
Melissa?
Multiple.
As have I.
My friend used to send us.
Stop it.
Okay,
Just
whatever.
don't do this.
He used to send us videos of his poop, but he would put it in reverse.
I hate you.
So it would look like it was coming out of the toilet. He would flush it and then he would put the video in reverse.
I thought he
and
was
then send
literally
it.
on camera here.
Oh no, not coming out. No.
No,
that would be funny.
No,
It's not funny. It's cringe.
Okay, we don't want to talk. You and me. Let's
Yeah,
have a conversation here. What was the overarching rules of this group? Because like
They
you
had
can't
to
just
be
like send any
abnormal.
shit.
Yeah, like
exactly.
abnormal.
Wait, was the group? Was the chat specifically created
No,
for
no.
this
No, of
reason?
course not.
Oh, okay.
You would randomly, like when I was in boarding school, I used to send these to my roommates in boarding school, and like my roommate was Indian, and she said that they called in Punjab, they called long poop Lindies. So I would, whenever I had a Lindy, I would send her and I would say, Lindy.
Can we not do this?
No, but here's the thing. Like,
This is
I
very
understand
uncomfortable.
because like there have been times where I would look down and I was like, damn,
You're proud of
I
it.
should really take a picture
Yeah.
of that. And then I'm
Exactly.
like, and then I pull my phone out, right? I swipe over to the picture and I go, I'm a 40-year-old man. What the hell am I doing? And I put my phone away and I don't take the picture.
No. Going back to this group, would you say that there's always one person in the group who is utterly disgusted by this behavior? Yes. Okay,
There's
we've had the
always
same
one,
experience.
and then there's like they actually both were groups of 3, where one was like definitely never gonna send his poop. One was like the main poop sender,
Mm-hmm.
was always sending them, and he would call them Coke cans. 'Cause
Sure.
they were like really wide.
This is one of the best South Park episodes.
Yeah, and then like I was the sender in the girl group. But
right. Okay.
I can't
so
take this. I can't.
Landon can't breathe.
when I
can't
was
do
with
this,
Dan, it was me, him, Tyler, Craig, and Andy.
Well, that's a group.
And
Andy obviously was
Andy
the
was
one
obviously
who couldn't stand it.
but he couldn't leave the group.
No.
He could not leave the group. He had to be the mom of the group instead of just leaving the group. So it was a one-upsmanship where, I mean, our goal initially was to get poop that made it out, breach the water. That was like the minimum barrier, right? If it's breaching the water, this is a photo
He's
worthy.
holding it in for 3 days.
This
Like,
is
I'm going to really work
literally
this
the-
one up.
It was
just
such
really-
a good podcast, and it's just evolved.
Just
so
taking,
fucking bad.
I mean, we're taking like
This wasn't
fiber
even
pills to
me.
make sure
My
that this
doing.
happens, you know? But the sole goal was to eventually have a Randy Marsh shit like that, where it actually comes up over the lid. Like that was the one you really wanted to get in there.
That
But you had
is
some like
this-
Suzy Q's along the way, you know, that look like the Dairy Queen ice cream where they have the little curly Q at the top.
Oh my god.
Those
Can we
ones were
stop?
nice.
Can we just stop?
Can
we just stop? I'm vetoing this.
Just mute the mics. It's fine.
I'm just saying, like, I get you.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're 40.
To be fair, I
don't
haven't,
care. It's
I
still
haven't
funny.
sent a picture of my poop since like probably high school.
Same. It was, yeah,
Same.
this was like
Same.
2015.
Actually, that's
No, not high
You
school.
were
Not
in
high
your
school.
I've sent,
I was in my 30s.
I've sent it to people I was dating.
That's okay. You lost me there.
No, I wouldn't
God,
do.
you were
I've changed my ways. No, I'm
undateable.
not gonna do that anymore.
Good.
I'm not gonna do that.
shouldn't
The thing is,
do it at all.
I've seen
Fucking grow
multiple pictures of Berkey's poop. It's just, you know, it gets passed around. Eventually, you see it.
Right.
That's when you know you had a good one.
It gets
but the thing is,
passed around.
Right, and this is where I'm just like, I beat that multiple times, and I'm like, I was like, I could, and I was just like, I can't bring myself to like
Yeah.
engage in this.
Yeah.
in this
Prove it.
shit. I can't engage in this shit.
Brian, do not become one of them.
I won't. See, see, he's gonna make me do it.
Yeah,
He's
you're
not going to
goddamn
make
right.
you do anything. He's just instigating. And this is how they get you. This is pressure.
I know.
Say no to peer pressure.
I'll stay. I'll
Stay
remain.
gold, Brian.
I will remain an adult.
Let the tortoise live.
I'm disappointed in you. Have a
the
little
next
fun.
person I date, like I will not poop around them. I'll try not to fart around them. Like
Try not to.
I'm gonna be like a lady.
But that's only for the first beginning. Then
No, I'll try to keep. Like I was talking to my sister-in-law, and he doesn't fart or poop around my brother, and they're like awesome.
How long have they been together?
They've been married over 20 years.
Whoa.
Okay, that's weird.
That's
Is
a
it?
long time.
Not weird, but that's you. So
He's like, I
you've
don't
been
wanna
together with
know
someone
that
for
she
20
poops.
years, and you're gonna go into the other room to fart.
Yeah, I asked her that, and I was like, "You don't like. What if you just have to fart?"
It's
and
a
she said,
fart.
"If I have tummy issues,
It's
then
an
I'll
air.
just maybe it slips out, but
It's
mostly no."
It's just.
Is
air
there? Do
coming
we
out of
literally
it.
have anything better to talk about?
Yeah,
Please?
Espen's fifth in chips in the main
Please,
event.
fucking anything, man. Anything.
Do you
Give
think
me
Espen
anything.
sends pictures of his shit
No,
around the
definitely
Overbet
not.
Express crew?
I'll take the under. Definitely not.
Nobody in the Overbet Express. Somebody in the Overbet Express crew is sending
Somebody
shit
sends
pics.
shit, but
For
it's
sure.
not Espen.
Yeah, he's a little bit too classy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He
I
has
don't
that
think
clean
it's
cut.
Henry either.
Wait, what?
I don't think it's Henry either.
No, both of them they're way too clean cut.
Yeah.
Someone in that group though.
Who's the shit sender?
Who's the I need to know. Overbet Express, hit us up. Let us know who's sending poop pics.
Is that what you want?
in your
I
group
thought
chat?
that.
Don't.
All the super chat went away, didn't it?
I don't know. I
Yes,
stopped,
everyone
I stopped
left.
looking.
There's
No, we
nobody
got
watching.
one. We got one.
Stop.
See?
Yeah.
Wombat Billy says, appreciate the content over the World Series. Keep it rolling. Good luck, Berkey. Get that bracelet.
the World
Thank you,
Series.
sir.
Wait, that was
There's
before
not
we
a
started
single super
talking about
chat.
this.
No
About the
super.
poop.
No.
Lee BP question: how do all the lawyers learn to handle mountains of chips
This
with
is
no
way
extensive
before.
live
These
experience?
Are old.
Yeah.
These are old, but that's fine. Took me a long time to learn. Wait, why would Nightbot delete that? I don't understand. Anyway, the super chat's still here.
Since we started talking about poop,
The super chat's still here. They're living. They're here for.
they hate us.
They're here for the shits.
They hate us.
They're here for the shits.
They're with the
literally.
shits, yeah.
Shout out to Charles Hoyer. He says, "I think about shut the fuck up, Ollie, all the time."
That is the greatest.
Such a good line, man. It is such a good line.
Shut the fuck up, Ollie. It's so pure.
It was so
like he
funny.
meant all of that.
That might be my new annual World Series prep thing of just like, hey guys, just a reminder, the main event's around the corner, and just put that clip up of
Really
like,
meditation.
you should try meditation, Nick.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, Ollie.
So
That's
it's
kind
so
of-
quiet,
you know
but
what?
so powerful.
Yeah.
It's
He's
great because
really
it's
put
like the
his all
difference of
behind it.
like when you look at some friends of yours where like they'll have a good summer or a good series and they'll be like, I'm meditating every day.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything I can to play a great tournament summer. And it's like, bro, you've just won all-ins for 6 fucking weeks. That's all you've done. Your meditation hasn't helped you.
Oh, Landon.
Like, that's what you've
Welcome.
done. And that's okay. So shut the fuck up about it. Your meditation is not what makes you win or lose.
What
if you win
happened,
all,
buddy? Can we quite have the summer you
know.
expected?
We did a
Can we
comparison
please
from the first
juxtapose-
and the last day of the
Can we
season.
juxtapose his beginning of the summer till now?
He's
I think
finally
this-
become Dan O'Brien.
No, I'm fine. But the people that say that they're not fine and are just like, oh, I meditate all the time. I do everything that I can. It's like, sure, you can do everything you can, but that's not the reason why you win or you don't. That's just it.
Yeah. Is
And that's
the sim-
okay.
Is the sim the
that's
reason why you win or you
acceptance.
don't?
Landon, it's the butterfly effect.
It's
It
acceptance.
is the butterfly effect.
It's the meditation that changes everything.
But what if everyone else is doing stuff too?
But
What if
they're not.
everybody meditates?
You just got to
They're
meditate
not.
harder,
They're
man.
not.
That's,
Oh,
that's
so the
your
people.
edge.
So it's a war of the people that meditate versus
Correct.
the
They
non-meditators.
Yes.
meditate for an hour, you meditate for 2 hours.
Yeah,
they meditate
exactly.
for a day, you meditate for a week.
But if you
Yeah.
meditate for a week, how can you play the tournament?
Huh?
You do it before.
Yeah.
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 Go to
You
a
start in
retreat.
January.
What if they started last year?
Well, then you gotta go
You
back
better
in
up your
time.
game then.
And
Sounds like you need a fucking
sometimes,
time
Landon,
machine.
You just lose, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You try to out meditate the other people.
Right.
You try to out meditate.
Why are you not meditating now for next
No,
year?
Yeah,
but
why aren't
honestly,
you
like when it comes to call it series at a glance for me, from like the start to now, I've done really well, and I'm really like happy with my series. Not from like a result standpoint, more so like I wanted to keep my routine the same from the start until now, and I have. Like I've gone to the gym 5 times a week. I've like kept the same sort of routine, diet, all that stuff. And I feel good about it because that's what I wanted to do over the summer, and I did it. I didn't be like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do anything.
Copium.
Okay,
You've
There's no
brought
fucking
us-
copium.
you brought us
So-
No,
around.
you're the reason why I
I'm
get
gonna
mad.
interrupt this copium to introduce a name that Corey has suggested, Landon Tice.
You're everything that I hate. You're everything that I hate.
You've become everything that I am.
No,
Yes, you
Yeah.
have. You just
there's
ended
no
here.
The difference between you and I is there's no coping here.
No, the difference between you and I is that you ended here and I just started there.
Yeah.
I was at the gym every fucking day. I kept my mouth shut. I showed up to every event and I quietly lost my money. And now here we are at the end. God willing, I'll recoup some of it today, please.
We need to save the house, man.
The super chat's on point. So Andrew Noveski says $10 super chat. He said for Brian's 12th rail beer tonight. As Berkey takes down bracelet number 1, we'll see Berkey in a full suit again for the final table run, like super high rollable. No, that's not going to happen. But he did buy you a 6-pack. So
wow. Well, thank you, sir.
Sixer.
Thanks. Come to Belly's. I'm going to be throwing a party.
It's only one
But
beer
Frankie
Bally's.
J hit the one-liner. He said, tell Melissa a woman had to use a wheelchair after holding her farts in around her boyfriend.
So well, I know if I hold my farts in all day, they come out when I'm sleeping. So it's like the person I'm going to be with is going to hear them anyway, but at least if it's I'm sleeping, I can pretend
It's 10
that
times
I'm a
worse.
lady.
You involuntary Dutch oven your significant other.
Yeah.
He doesn't. She doesn't pull the blanket over his head.
Well, she's good. Well, yeah.
You keep if you keep it
'cause
under
when
the
I'm
blanket, you
alone-
never smell it.
When I'm alone, I'm just like, I let
Gassy.
it happen. So then when I'm like half asleep or sleeping, I guess I just, return to that. Like just let it
All right,
out.
I'm gonna end this on a story. We'll eliminate names
What
to
could
keep
this story
keep
possibly
the innocent
be?
innocent.
This better not be a poop story.
I was seeing a girl, and she spent the night, and the next day, everything was fine. She left. We were texting, we were chatting, whatever, and we went a couple of days without seeing each other. And she texts me, and she goes, "Okay, like let's just talk about it." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "I know you heard me fart in my sleep last night." And I go, or not last night, but a few nights ago or whatever. I go, what are you talking about? She goes, "It woke me up. I know you heard it, and I know you're not talking to me because of it." And I go, "No, like I have no idea what you're talking about." She goes, "It was so bad, I woke up from a dead sleep." I was just like, I'm positive that he heard this, and that it's all over because like we had just started seeing each other or whatever.
This has happened to me for sure. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I've
I
woken
can't
myself
see
up farting, and then like I was just like, oh my god, he heard that.
I
Because if
can't
it's in
see
the
a guy
beginning, like
being over a girl because they fart.
I can't.
No,
see
of
this.
course not. Of
but
course
it's
not.
so
But-
embarrassing.
But also, like,
You don't want to fart around.
do you know how
them.
hard it is to wake another person up? Like,
I've woken up from other people's farts.
people, man, I don't think I fart in my sleep.
You definitely
Yeah.
fart in your
Everyone
sleep.
what are you
farts in their
talking
sleep.
about?
Everybody farts in their
I
sleep.
don't know.
Shut your mouth.
I'm sure I have farted
Yeah.
in my sleep. I just don't think it's like a common
I
practice.
bet you fart every single night in your sleep.
I would take that bet. I would definitely take that.
All right,
bet.
well, I
You know,
guess we're
they-
just gonna have
they
to
say-
record it.
in his room.
Isn't it like you eat 8 spiders a year or something? like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
You drink way too much protein for you to not fart in your
Yeah.
sleep.
I fart a lot during the day.
Maybe
This has
maybe
just
you
become
don't.
very unbecoming. I was fine. I was totally fine talking about sending pictures of my shit, but saying I fart out loud.
I fart.
Can't handle it. That's why you can't.
Yeah, that's why
Can
I
we
drew the line.
end the show?
Everybody farts, everybody poops.
I get it. We just don't have to see it or witness it. Or
Episode
be
We do have to
75?
see it if we're in your chat group.
Yeah.
that's true. Well, there's something
He
that you're
did
proud
propose
of.
it to our group chat.
No,
and
he
it was,
didn't.
I
yes,
would
he did
never.
propose.
Here's the
you
thing.
did
No.
propose it, and then everyone said no.
I did propose it, and the irony is, I would never, ever, ever send a shit pic to mixed
Unsolicited.
company,
Really?
or never to a woman.
Wow.
But I know that you are more disgusting than me.
Yeah.
And I was like, if anybody's gonna upvote this, it's 100% gonna be Melissa.
I know. I kind of was just like, well,
All I wanted was Conrad to get on board because I knew Landon would be the one who was cringed,
right.
and then we would have our
There's
3-to-1
too
monopoly.
many
I would just
people
leave.
who would be cringe.
I would leave
by
the
it.
group.
No, you
Would
wouldn't.
bring you back.
They
What's
bring you
wrong?
back
Why
in.
are you so ashamed and scared of poop?
There's no shame. There's no point. What's the point?
Why are you so afraid of it?
There's no fear. There's no point. It's pointless.
I'm gonna. The next
Pooping
time
is
that I have one,
pointless?
No, sending your shit pics to your friends is pointless.
It's a form of.
I don't know.
I'm not
bonding.
going to be
I
the
think the
form
point
of
is
your
to get
entertainment.
this exact
yes,
reaction
exactly,
out of you.
100%.
That's what I'm saying. I'd be like, the reason why you do it is because someone in the group becomes a form of entertainment, and I
Yes.
will not be your form of
The
entertainment.
next time I have one that breaches the water, like Nessie,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
get
know.
Messy.
I'm gonna get googly eyes, and I'm gonna put it on there.
Oh my god.
No, you
Here's
can't.
the
You
thing,
can't
though.
start decorating. You can't. Start
if
decorating.
you're making it
I put
worse.
googly
Start
eyes on
decorating it.
there,
No.
and a little tongue like it's
You didn't
Nessie
even
breaching out of the
say
water.
that you'll put it in the photo. You're literally gonna physically place.
I don't know.
googly eyes
Maybe
on
it's
your-
Photoshop. Maybe it actually happened. We'll never know.
My my brother told me he used. This may be too much, but he told me he used to use a spatula
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Only Friends podcast.
Sorry, Paul.
Thank you guys so much. I have a tournament to go win.
Good luck,
I
Berkey.
appreciate you all so much. Thank you for all the super chats. Please like, comment, subscribe. Leave. We have, by the way, we have over 1,000 viewers right now. They're here for the shits.
Do not leave a shit pic in the comments.
Our retention is at its absolute peak as we start shit talking.
DM Landon pictures of your poop, and I'll send you $10
Okay,
on
so I've been
Venmo.
trying to get this in. Here's the thing. If you sent that photo, okay, with the Google eyes, that's not even going to be the nastiest picture that's been sent in that group chat.
No, it's not. Melissa
Fucking
sent those.
Melissa sends the absolute worst
What did I
stuff.
send?
Yes.
Unfortunately, I've seen dick pics of people in the community.
So many.
Yes.
I've seen a guy drop trowel and have his fucking thing just go all the way down to his knee. Like,
Well, she photoshops like
yeah, she puts googly eyes on
googly
it.
eyes on
I zoom
huge,
in and
massive
make little
dicks.
helmet
And I'll just be like out on a train. You know, I'm traveling. I'll be out on a train or something. I remember opening.
You can't
I'm just
open the
like,
group
what
chat in
the
public.
fuck?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't open it in public.
You have to be
so
very
brutal.
careful where you open the group chat at.
And I remember typing "fuck you, Melissa," and she just writes "raffle." I was like, God damn it!
Oh man, we'll be back tomorrow at noon, hopefully celebrating a big victory. Please like, comment, subscribe, as I mentioned before. Leave some comments below. Let us know who your pick to click is left in the main event. Are you rooting for Big Call Kenny Tran? Big shout out to my man Espen from Overbet Express. That's who I'm pulling for right now. And hey, if nothing else, just leave a poop emoji. Let us see your shit. You know,
No.
figuratively speaking.
Don't do
The
it.
Figuratively
emoji. The
speaking.
emoji.
Let us know.
do it.
Thank you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, and we're out.
Good luck, Berkey.